I can't breathe.
Hello, and welcome to the Isle Ship. My name is John. I'm with Brandon and Mike Dino Dangle, and we are finishing up the Toronto Leafs New York Islanders game right now. It's just finished. The Islanders
Mhm.
swept the Maple Leafs for the season, winning 3-2 off of Pierre Engvall's game winner. Boys, what did we think?
I thought it was hilarious. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
Tavares ties it, Engvall wins it.
yeah.
And mind you, that's Engvall's homecoming. That's Engvall's return to
Oh yeah,
Scotiabank.
that's his first game. That's his first game back this season. Well, obviously his first game back this season, but I think that's his first game back since the trade. So
Yep.
yeah, he was fiending for one.
Yep. No, he was looking for one all freaking game.
Oh yeah,
It's Brock's turn. It's Brock's turn now to step it up now under Waugh. But
Hmm.
no, Engvall and Palmieri, they stepped it up in the middle of the second towards the latter part of the third period. They ended up winning it in regulation, mind you. So chalk up a regulation win to your statistics. The Maple Leafs are in a little bit of a trouble situation. They could potentially miss the playoffs if they don't step up their game. But
they've been playing better as of late. I think their big problem, it seems, is they have an issue like the Islanders of holding third period leads,
they have three problems. TJ Brody has been absolute crap for them this year.
Yeah.
You don't, and for the Maple Leafs, number two, you don't know which side of Timothy Liljegren you're going to get if you're the Maple Leafs. Some days he looks fine. Other times he looks like a Thomas Hickey type of defenseman. And I mean post-concussion Thomas Hickey, like that type of Thomas Hickey. Like there's no consistency right now with Timothy Liljegren, and their goaltending has been questionable since Joseph Wall got hurt. Samsonov had a couple.
That's the main thing. You don't know what Samsonov you're going to get night to night. You can either get good Samsonov or terrible.
And Samsonov was okay tonight.
He was pretty good tonight. Yeah, he had a solid game, I think.
He was not the reason why the Maple Leafs lost that game.
No.
Riley and Brody had a horrible late third period sequence that led to the Palmieri attempt and Engvall rebound. Good for the Islanders for cashing in on that. You could fault Samsonov. Maybe he should have covered the puck. Should have had a better angle on the shot. But you know what? You take that, knowing the fact that Pelech and Pollock, who are back finally, paired together. Paired together. You knew there was going to be rust with Pollock. Not as much for Pelech, though. But you know what?
Is Brandon crafting a spell right now? Do you see this?
Paired together.
Oh yeah. Stop.
But
there we go.
But seriously, with the rust of Pelech and Pollock together as a pairing, they're going to pick it up as the season goes on. That's perfectly fine because you know why? Riley and Mayfield more than pick up the slack for them.
This game they did for sure. Yeah, Riley and Mayfield looked much better than they usually do. Mayfield especially, he had a very solid game, I thought.
Because they're in a third pair sheltered role now. You don't have to overexpose them anymore.
That's true.
That's what makes Pelech and Pollock so good. And I'm not saying Romanov and Dobson had a good game really either. They
got put against the Matthew Marner's line a lot, so they got shell shocked. That's a tough matchup. They held their own, but that's a tough matchup.
It's going to take time, but good for at least one pair to have some form of domination 5-on-5.
Yeah,
I don't want to steal Mike's thunder. Mike, your turn.
No, I just wanted to say, since we didn't say it, we haven't recorded in a really long time, so it's probably been like 6 months, I think, or something. But
no, it's been like
4,
2 or 3.
You think it's only been that long?
We've recorded during the season a few times.
Yeah, but it was early on because I think most of us were kind of in this weird lull with Lane where we kind of cared, but not really. Like we were kind of just. Maybe.
Should we actually transition to Lane right now?
I don't
do
think
you
we should.
guys want to talk about that?
I don't think we have to spend too much time on it. I think at the end of the day, he just didn't work here. And I think the players, not only did they just eventually tune him out, but I just don't think the system was working well. Whatever he likes to do, it wasn't going well. And I think we were all waiting. Like me and Brandon were predicting the day when he was getting fired because like we could just see it.
Yeah, I mean, I predicted Christmas, and they started playing a little better before that, so it bought him some time. But we all knew the writing was on the wall.
Me and Brandon actually predicted the game before he got fired. I think me and Brandon said the same day or something, and then he got fired like 2 days later.
It was the day after the Islanders lost to Winnipeg. Yes.
Yeah, and like we could just tell. I mean, no matter how the team was playing, even though it was bad every game, they
but I mean, you lose the Blackhawks game, and there was no surviving.
Oh, that was I mean,
no Bedard, mind you. No Bedard.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that was the nail in the coffin that had to be.
Well, from everything I've learned,
the night before, without Bedard, you cannot give up 4 goals to that team, no matter what the circumstance.
From everything I've learned that and been told and heard and talked to people about, Lane was already out the door early December. I mean, they had been talking to Wah weeks, almost a month right before Lane got let go. So there would
be no reason. There would be no reason for him to have watched the Kings game if he was not preparing to play.
I have some great info too, and obviously this is common sense, like you just said. But like someone ran into him in Montreal, I think like a couple months ago, that I ran into today. I just random guy saw my Islander hat and was like, "Hey, hope the team wins tonight." He's like, "I don't know if I'm gonna whatever he said," but he's like, "I ran into Patrick Waugh."
Random dude. He told you like he was in Montreal and he spoke with Patrick Waugh.
Yeah, he's like, I ran into him and I didn't even know who he was. I'm like, oh, you seem to be. He's like, you're very knowledgeable. Like, who are you? And he goes, I'm Patrick Waugh. And he goes, what? Like, obviously he was super excited. But then he talked about the Islanders with him, and Patrick Patrick said, "Do the Islanders still play at the Coliseum?" So it's like this was not the game plan early on. Like he found out probably early December. If the story is true, I doubt this guy would lie about that. There's really no reason to lie about that.
That's a pretty funny story, but Patrick Waugh also seems like a funny person to like fuck with somebody about that and be like, hey,
maybe.
I mean, he probably still kept up with the league, I'd say.
Maybe. As an Islanders fan, when other people talk about our team, sometimes they are galaxies off of what's going on currently. Like they'll still be talking either like the fourth line is still good, or they'll be laughing that the fourth line is still there. Like there's just two different sides.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, and to be fair, I think both have credibility because they were good for so long, or at least decent. Yeah. They did their job for so long. God bless Clutterbuck, because for some reason he's the one guy there that's still really putting, giving a good effort every night. And he's been good at 5v5. I mean, he's definitely earned his spot for a lot of these other guys that have been kind of tailing off. And I love Engvall, but he's not doing enough every night. I like Holmstrom. He's not doing enough every night. I think
Holmstrom is actually fine. I think he's doing exactly what you want him to do.
See, tonight he killed me because he had Pajot wide open on a breakaway, and he decided to curl it back and try to pass. I'm like, just get rid of it. No, throw it.
He didn't decide to do that. He couldn't position his body to make the pass. He tried to. It didn't work.
He wasn't good enough.
No, that's not how that works, dude.
You know what was funny is Anders was able to move his body tonight like he's been healthy for 6 years. He was doing some cuts in and out that I'm like, all right. I mean, maybe Anders Lee's back, but then obviously he didn't bury one of his 15 high danger chances. And
we've seen from the initial
flashes.
Speed boosts. Yeah, like they put out the data for like the initial speed burst and the strides after that. Anders is not slow from the gate, gate. It's transition.
I tweeted that. After the first 10 seconds, he's dead. I mean, but the first 10, you're getting a quality top 6 NHL forward. But everything after that
what it is. Like, yeah, he has a good jump. It's just he has no cardio because his knees are shot.
You're dropping the anchor after those first 10 seconds, but you gotta get those first 10 seconds into a high danger chance because that's where Anders is dangerous. But
that's what it is. Yeah, if you can get him into like a speed burst, he's fine. If you're trying to like get him to skate in stride, he's gonna get caught.
I don't know if he's scoring 20 goals though. I mean, I don't see him having a night as good as tonight again.
Well, what does he have now?
11, I think.
13. He's scoring 20. He's 13? Scoring 20.
He had such a good game tonight, and the guy still couldn't score. And it's like, well, I use that loosely because he still had his usual brain farts up and down the ice. But when he was in the offensive zone, man, he made his chances count. This guy is just not able to bury anything anymore, and it kills the team. Because if he was Anders of 2 years ago, we probably win that game 3-4-2. I mean, the game's already over. He had so many.
I think
you got to admit he had some really good chances. Barzal, was it Barzal or Horvat on the rebound right in front of the net? He had the wide open cage. He threw it right into Samsonov. It was just like, man, I don't know.
He's the kind of player that scores goals that are a little unexpected. I think he's going to end up putting up 20 easily. Yeah, like Engel.
Here's one player who actually looks much better. Again, it's first time after like 2 weeks that he's last played. Sorokin looked great.
Sorokin did look great. Yeah, Sorokin was very solid.
And you know why? He was given proper rest before the All-Star break.
Yeah, yes, it definitely helps.
And that's the second worst thing that Lambert ended up doing with Sorokin.
It's just
he rode him way too hard.
He ran him in 20 of the last 22 regular season games last year. Didn't even give Appleby a chance when Varlamov got hurt. No, you're not going to start him against Minnesota, who were 1-7-1, or the Predators on the back end of the back-to-back, or a Bedardless back-to-back Blackhawks team.
John, do you hear this? John, do you hear this? Do you hear Brandon supporting Applebee's?
Brandon is actually the king of Applebee's. What are you talking about?
That's horrible. That is horrible management.
Listen, if you're not going to play your AHL backup goalie when a Chicago Blackhawks team comes in on the second night of a back-to-back without their star player, when are you ever going to use him?
You should have seen the disappointment in Brandon's face. I mean, when I said that, he was like, terrible joke, Mike.
But the difference between I already see this now. Who knows if it's going to get carried on over the course of the season? It's
inside joke.
In the neutral zone that's miles better with the Islanders, like over their first 5 games under Wall compared to the first 40 plus this year under Lambert.
Well, they're stepping up more. They're stepping up more in the neutral zone. They're attacking the transition skater more. They have guys waiting in transition
consistently. If you have to count with more than one hand per period the amount of high danger, the amount of on-man rushes that you're surrendering per period, you're not a good coach. You're not a good coach. That's
you didn't see that tonight. You're playing one of the most dangerous teams in the league. They showed the stat on screen. Not surprising. They're the number 1 in the league in slot chances per game. And the Islanders, for the most part,
they limited their slot chances. Steadily.
There were certain times in the game where I'm like, who the hell is on the ice? Why are we giving up 15 shots in a row? But then I understand, like, it's the fourth line, like, trying to get off the ice, I think, sometimes. It's like,
again, this is why you have to use more context with your numbers. Not you, Mike, but a lot of people say, "Oh, at least how did your chances all the time?" I go, "Yeah, okay. Who are they up against to generate those chances?"
Oh, I make those mistakes all the time, though. It's so hard to be right with analytics and stats every time because everything has context. Everything needs context.
That's the problem that a lot of people have when it comes to using.
Of course,
you look at it in a vacuum, and it's not in a vacuum. You have to isolate each scenario. Okay, why are these numbers like this? Why is your XGF or HCF percentage below 50 in this area? Why is it 30? Who's responsible for it? Who are they up against to make that number that low? There's so many variables you have to weigh into consideration when it comes to evaluating like that. It's not as simple as goals for and goals against, like the old school people like to make it out to be. It ain't like that. There's more to that. The Vegas Golden Knights, and again, I'm not saying analytics are a be-all, end-all, be-all, but the Vegas Golden Knights literally built their team based on the foundation of analytics. They did. They relied on it so much they won a cup with a fourth stringer. And they have a great team to support him. But again, I know it's not the Vegas Golden Knights podcast, but I'm just saying there's more to this.
The fourth stringer also ended up being like as good as most first stringers.
Yeah,
I would also argue that every team nowadays uses analytics, Brendan. I don't think that's a specialty of the Knights.
They do.
I mean, every team does.
Okay, Mike, what freaking analytics are the Ducks using, though? They're not using anything right now.
No, I think those teams.
They're using the we're not trying to win games currently.
Yes.
Analytics.
So here's
$6 million per.
When they asked Gary Bettman and they said, listen, teams don't tank. Sure, teams don't intentionally tank, but I think teams intentionally try not to win. I absolutely not necessarily the players. The teams
don't. The GMs do. The players.
Yes, exactly.
You're exactly right there. Players and coaches do not tank because they need job protection. GMs absolutely tank, and that's what they're doing right now in Anaheim.
That's why I hate when people say, "Oh, teams don't tank on purpose." But once again, you need context. It's not the players on the ice; it's the person putting the players on the ice. Exactly.
Absolutely.
They're not giving, and that's the right thing to do. I don't think Anaheim's there, and neither is Chicago, neither is San Jose. You're going to let these players ride out and see who has value and flip them to continue a rebuild. I mean, there's something wrong with that. Yeah.
And for people, again, this is going back to the Islanders coaching. For people who
should go back to the Islanders.
For people who want to say, like, because it's an Islanders podcast, but for people who want to think, oh, coaching doesn't matter, look at the fucking Senators. Okay? That team should not be where they are right now. They should be fighting at least for a wild card spot. You have Giroux. I understand Tarasenko ain't what he used to be, but he's still a decent mid-six player. You have Stützle. You have Norris. You have Brady Tkachuk. You have
that defense is so abhorrently bad. It's not even funny. But they have zero structure.
You have Shabbat. You have Sanderson. Like, I understand Corpusel.
They
decent.
They have good players, but they have good players. But are they ever where they need to be on the ice?
How are you worse than Detroit?
Structure, coaching.
Buffalo? It's completely coaching. So for people who want to say, "Oh, coach, it's all the players," you're seeing the difference with the Islanders over their first 5 games under Wall in terms of structure, in terms of attention to detail, and that's something that Lane never properly reinforced. And you know what? They call this a conspiracy theory. Lane, I think, had a big fucking ego after what happened last year because. You know what? Oh, we didn't have Matt Barzal for 2 months, and we still had the playoffs. I'm the man. You know what? I'm going to go back to the system that ultimately failed. But you know what? I'm the guy, and I'm going to get this team to the top. Well, guess what, Lane? You didn't do it. You went away from the system that your predecessor originally gave you, and you stuck with for the last month and a half, and you threw it away this year.
It's an interesting argument, Brandon. I don't know if I agree with that, though. I think Lane was expecting something out of these players that they were able to do 4 or 5 years ago. 3, maybe even you could say 3 years ago. The teams,
but again, Mike, the system that the structure made no sense that Lambert was providing. None. Yeah. You cannot have. If you're going to have lackadaisical play, it cannot be in both the neutral zone and the defensive zone.
No, I agree with you. The style he was – see, I hate when people say, oh, he had no system. He absolutely did have a system. It was just extremely passive.
It was but that doesn't succeed in the playoffs.
No, it does. I'm not going to sit here and try to understand Lane. All I can say was that from a fan perspective – and someone who hasn't coached hockey, but from a fan perspective, he made common sense mistakes. Stuff Barry would do 4 years ago when the fourth line guys were still good, when those guys were still able to hold their own. Now when Lane's doing it, when Barzal's in his prime playing some of the best hockey he's ever played, and you're not using him in the last 5 minutes of a game, basically, you're failing. You're failing the team. I mean, look at Waugh. He's out every single time. Now, granted, he wasn't out during the Barzal wasn't out during the 6-on-5 flurry at the end, but I don't care if he's out during that. That's whatever, at least he got to play 2 or 3 shifts before Engvall scored that goal. So
it just makes no sense that why do you steer away from something that was working in the last month and a half of the regular season last year? Because
it's not sustainable for 82 games. I fully believe that.
You have the talent for it. Trotz did it with the Capitals.
That was
he didn't change anything. It was the same.
No, Mike. That's not really a talent-based system. It's entirely an effort-based system. You can be a shitty hockey player. If you have the motor, it'll work.
I don't think the Islanders aren't exactly a young team anymore, though. So I think
they can make it work.
And the Capitals were.
I don't think Waugh's system is high effort. I think it's just man on man more so, and also better in the neutral zone. They're closing gaps and they're looking for outlets and they're taking
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Waugh's system is Trotz's system.
It's not a left wing.
They don't look like Carolina to me, but they're doing a lot of things better now. I mean,
because it's not a 1-1-3. Trotz's system was a 1-1-3. Waugh's system was a 1-2-2. That's the difference. So as a result, you're not as lackadaisical in the defensive zone as a result, but you're not able primarily at the moment to generate as much high danger chances offensively as a result.
But you're asking why they didn't
a transition team.
Why they didn't do Lane's system like they did the last month and a half. I think it's because that wasn't sustainable. What the Islanders were doing is basically playing. I thought they were playing playoff hockey for a month and a half. By the time they got out of that against Carolina, they looked like garbage sometimes. I mean, they just were getting killed.
They also there were many moments where they literally just stopped listening to Lane. I think the most damning thing that I can think of is throughout the 20 or so games before he got fired, there were 3 or 4 players behind the net in the defensive zone every single time in the third period when a high danger chance happened, and it always went in our net because there was no one covering the guy in the slot directly in front of the goallie. That has not happened at all under Waugh.
And again, I always preach this, though. The regression of Pelech and Pollock and Mayfield directly coincided from when Lambert took over as head coach.
Because he's been coaching them to do something that's not beneficial to their system, to what works for them.
But it's not beneficial to any NHL team who wants to contend for the playoffs. It's not a sustainable recipe for any team.
It's not. I hope he gets a chance elsewhere, and I hope he figures it out. But I mean, I just hope it's not against us.
I hope that's all.
I don't hate the guy. I gotta listen. I think he was one of, if not the worst coach in Islanders history. He was just making terrible decision after decision.
No, I think that's kind
tough. Really, what Islanders coach had as much talent as he did right now? Most of those Islanders teams under Nolan, under Scott Gordon, those teams were horrible. I mean, geez, you think I make fun of this Islanders team? Those Islanders teams had our third line as the whole team. It was basic.
If barring injury, if Patrick Waugh can coach this Islanders team to a playoff spot, that seals Lambert's fate of ever becoming a head coach of the NHL ever again.
I disagree entirely.
Yeah, we'll see. Now that doesn't mean he'll get another. Well, we don't know. I mean, frick.
He'll be part of the boys' club.
We'll see. Capuano.
Who's Todd Reardon head coaching?
Well, he's assistant.
Yeah, but is he a head coach?
No, but I mean, he
very easily could be soon.
Yeah, we don't know. Brandon's right that I don't think he'll get a job right away, but in the future, who knows? I mean, maybe like Waugh, he has to go away, coach another team, and come back. I mean,
right away, no, but I think in 2 or 3 years, he could be a head coach for a team.
Capuano's been an assistant for a long time.
Jack Capuano has more playoff series victories as a head coach than Lane Lambert, and he still doesn't have a head coaching job.
But
Lambert should not be ahead of him in that line.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to predict something like that unless I see what Lambert does after this. I need to know, is he going to stay in the NHL? Is he going to go elsewhere? And listen, I had a very harsh take on him where I said he was the worst coach in Isles history. And you could definitely make the argument that he was the worst Isles coach with the most talent. I mean, that's an easy one.
I think Lane Lambert reminds me a lot of someone like David Quinn, and he got opportunity after opportunity.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, David,
what Islander coach do you think was worse than Lambert? I'm just curious.
You assume that the Sharks are an organization. They don't know what they're doing either.
I would really have to think about it, but I think Doug Waite was worse than Lambert.
See, I made that comparison, and then I looked at the numbers, and I'm like, Waite had the Islanders as the best offensive team in the league and the worst defensive team. Lane just had them bad at both. I don't know, like the Islanders.
Yeah, but Lane also made the playoffs.
Waite only got one chance.
Yeah, he didn't do it though.
No. Waite had a chance and a half. Just like Lambert had a chance and a half.
Whatever. I think Waite had
Ted Nolan was also like very in over his head.
Sure. No, but I hate it's hard to compare the old Islanders coaches because those teams were bad. I mean,
you directly did that.
But you have to. I mean, you have to look at Lane in a vacuum here and be like, okay, well, who does he compare to? If you're thinking of Doug Waite as like worse, I guess, but like I don't think so. I think if Waite was playing with a team that was like a little bit more skilled, maybe his system would have done really well. I mean, not a Stanley Cup winner potentially, but I mean, I don't know. Lambert had the Islanders bad at everything. The only thing the Islanders were good at is the power play under Lane. For almost his entire time here.
Lambert didn't even coach the first unit, though.
I know.
No, not his entire time here. They were a legitimately good team the second half of last season.
Yeah, that stretch without Barzal. Yeah. I know that's what everyone will hang their hat on because outside of that, they were kind of a disaster. I mean, let's be honest. I mean,
because Lane literally reverted back to the system that his predecessor initiated.
Yeah,
sure, but.
And he's not a bad coach. He's a stubborn coach.
Yeah, he's a stubborn coach. And you know,
right, we can move on from Lane. I hate talking about this freaking guy. Let's talk about Waugh. It's much better. I mean, I'm really happy this guy's here. And the guy I talked to today the stranger that I ran into today, we had a great conversation where I said, just be patient. And that's what I'll say to every Islanders fan. Be patient. If they don't make it this year, it does not matter. What you want with Patrick Waugh is for him to bring what you want from him this year is to basically just bring his guys here. He already did with the assistant coach. So I'm hoping that the GM will be someone he picks. I think he'll have a say in that. I really do.
So we're all on board for be patient. It doesn't matter what happens this year, right?
You have to. I mean, it's not fair. You threw the guy into.
I mean, but the Islanders have
in that.
But here's the thing, though. Like people,
excuses. Where is it? I'm pointing the wrong way. No, this way. There you
go. No, I'm not making excuses. But
no, I'm saying Brandon. What's the excuse, Brandon? You said a butt. No, what's a butt?
The Islanders have a fully healthy decor. You have Romanov, Dobson, Pelican Pollock, who are going to shake the rust off. You have
fully
Riley
healthy. Fully healthy.
I think that you can do. No, I think you can do anything this season 100%. Where I was going to go with this is I want where I was going to go with this is I want to dig at Mike because his takes are contradictory to each other.
How?
Okay. You physically cannot sell anyone at the deadline unless you're making a hockey trade.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't be selling anybody right now.
Yeah. What's the matter?
You wanted to sell Nelson.
Yeah, but that would be more of a hockey trade than a draft pick trade.
No.
Go read the trades I made.
I read the trades you made. They were for a first round pick and a prospect.
No, not any of them. None of them were that.
You should not be selling Brock Nelson at any point. You shouldn't.
Okay.
That's fine. You can have that opinion.
Unless he, as a player, just torpedoes down.
Walk me through it again. Who would you trade him for?
Well, I said I'd have to look at the other one because I don't remember the exact. Well, one of them is a Perfetti straight up. I thought that would be really
absolutely
interesting.
Fucking not.
You know why? Because Winnipeg wouldn't do it. That'd be dumb for them.
Yeah, you know who else wouldn't do it? Brock Nelson.
The Islanders wouldn't do it.
Well, they're dumb for not doing it.
Winnipeg, you want to bet? Winnipeg would absolutely be on his modified no trade list.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's no way he'd go there. Yeah. Well, I mean, Kuzmenko waived, right?
Over there.
Kuzmenko waived to go to Calgary. Anything's possible.
So all these fucking guys with no trade clauses, you give them money under the table, they'll waive it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. There you go, John. We're talking mafia money here, Brandon. Get out of here.
Okay, because Kuzmenko came out to play more in Calgary, though. That's why.
He definitely did not want to go to fucking Calgary.
Okay, but
he absolutely didn't want to go to Calgary.
No, there's no way.
So he wants a bigger payday, so he's going to get an opportunity to play more minutes in Calgary.
That's realistically
my other
the
deal,
reason why.
which Nelson would probably be okay with, was a Turcotte and Moore deal, which was the realistic one once Dom gave me the actual value of Nelson, which he thinks with the extra year is a Lindholm trade.
And
there's no draft picks in that, John. Those are players. Would I like a first with that?
Yeah, but
sure.
But Turcotte and Moore don't net you 30+ goals.
I think they do. See, that's the thing. I think it evens out. Moore already has 20 this year. Moore has 21. I think he has as many goals as Brock Nelson this year. Unless I'm wrong. You can go look it up. The reason LA would do this is because they're struggling down the middle, and they'd be able to move one of their centers to the wing, in my opinion, to be the lazy one that we don't have to mention. But I think LA needs a change-up like that. And I think you would have to sacrifice a guy scoring 20 goals right now and an up-and-coming center like Turcotte to try to win now. Now, maybe they don't want to do that, and that's fine. But I gave a trade option, which is basically, in my opinion, a hockey trade. It is not a futures trade. You're talking about a center who will be in the NHL for the next, I don't know how many years, but he looks...
The majority of trades you gave were futures trades, and then you complained about why nobody wants to value the future.
All right, well, you have to bring up me doing a future trade because I don't think I did one. You'll have to show me.
All right, because you should
have done the research. You can't drop this on me and not show me the trade I was doing.
I'm not. No, we're not doing that. But you had like 20. People can go back. People can look back on this. You had like 20 tweets about how no one in the Islanders organization values the future at all.
I do believe that. I think there's some weird problem with the first trade. I'm not trading a first for Vetrano. I can tell you that much.
That's what I mean. No, you're supposed to. You should.
You keep Brock Nelson.
You absolutely should.
You keep Nelson no matter what.
No.
And I'm gonna give you a prediction. He'll sign a cheap deal at the end of his contract. He absolutely will.
I think he will. Yeah.
When I thought about it, I'm like, it does make sense to keep him too. But if the Islanders are doing poorly this year, I think it would be silly to not go, hey, what will you offer me?
This is what I mean. When you're saying like, no, you make a hockey trade, and then like seconds later you're like, well, if they're not doing well.
If you want your team to get better, Mike.
You just said this season doesn't matter.
Nelson to make your team better. You add on top of that.
Yeah.
And you subtract the pieces that don't work right now. That's what you do.
Okay.
And
I don't think that's a bad argument. I don't disagree with you. I think it works either way. But I think to say, hey, trading Nelson for a guy who looks like he's going to be a future 2C and a guy scoring 20 goals right now is I don't think that's silly. That's my opinion.
I still contend the target for this deadline should be Pavel Buchnevich.
The Blues are not going to move him right now. They're like flying in and out of the wild card.
But John, you said if the rest of the season doesn't matter, but that's when you build chemistry. That's when you would bring guys in and have them learn the system. You don't make those moves in the offseason. You get them going now.
I've already spoken to a few Blues fans on a NHL Discord.
Oh, of course you did.
They do not think that the Blues are going to move Buchnevich this trade deadline.
Brandon's in there like, I'm an Islanders fan.
No, there's a few fans I interact with them.
It doesn't seem like they're competing enough to where they're not going to sell. To me.
Yeah, but they're not going to move Buchnevich.
They would need a good offer. It'd probably be better than a first for Buchnevich.
It would actually make sense for the Blues to keep him actually and extend him and sell other pieces or moving him.
The Blues stink.
Let me put it to you this way, Mike. You move Pareko before you move Buchnevich.
Oh, of course, just like ready, John, ready. I'm ready to drop it. Ready, just like you move Pajot before Nelson. Look at Brandon's face. We have 2 things to clip this episode. Two reactions out of Brandon where he's upset. Unbelievable.
You don't move either player because they work with complex systems.
And
no, you move Lee before you move Nelson or Pajot because of the importance.
You move Lee if somebody will take him, but I don't think anybody's going to take him.
Pajot and his dead wrist. You move him.
Yeah. Well, no.
Pajot, I love this one because I don't even care about moving Pajot. I just know it makes Brandon upset.
Pajot to me is someone I'm okay with moving for the right price.
Yeah, because you know you want to talk about Nelson downtrending? I think Pajot's been the last couple of seasons.
No,
I don't think
he's underwater so far.
If the trade was a first-round pick, Pajot and a B-level prospect for Buchnevich, would you make that trade?
What's that?
That's tough because the Islanders'
if
center
the return was
Pajot,
a first-round pick, and a B-level prospect for Buchnevich, would you make that trade?
Nope.
That's tough.
Nope.
I don't know. I don't know if I would either. I would have to know that Cizikas is healthy and McLean could play 3C. I don't think he can. I don't think that's a good move.
Where's your shutdown center? You'll have one.
McLean. Look at his goal tonight.
Yeah, you use McLean.
Mike, you're doing some work right now.
Brandon, this whole episode has just been upset. I mean, this is the frowning episode. We're gonna call it that. Yeah.
And realistically, I think Fashion could probably play center as well. So if you need a fourth line center and a pinch, it can be Fashion.
Brandon's just losing it tonight. He can't breathe. He's underwater.
Are you trying to get a rise out of me, you say? Are you trying to do this to me?
You know what? They got Pierre Engvall, John. They don't need Pajot.
Just
drop
God.
Pierre Engvall then.
Hey,
I'm trying to take this serious. I really am, but it's so funny to bust Brandon's balls because I know Brandon loves Pajot.
If you have Holmstrom, Pajot becomes expendable.
It's not a matter of whether or not I'm a fan of Pajot. I know the importance of
okay.
Like Eriksson Ek, like Jordan Stahl, like William Karlsson. Those players matter significantly to teams who want to go on deep playoff runs.
All right, Brandon.
You're right. But
one last joke. One more. Wait, hold on. Brandon, Kevin Fiala or JG Pajot? Oh.
He's not happy with it.
Oh, he's thinking about it.
I'm still keeping Pajot because it doesn't.
What?
No. Let me explain. I need
them
to give me one of their centers back in return.
Whoa.
That team laughs Brandon out of the building.
Yeah.
You want something more?
No. Let me explain before I get this dramatic overreaction. I value the importance of shutdown centers. I value the importance of those types of players.
Wait, ready?
Okay.
I'll do a visualizer for you, Brandon. This is when
for Pajot.
This is when they accept the trade. This is me for Pajot. See you later. See you later, Pajot. Putting his equipment away.
I think having a shutdown center is important, but I also think that if you're going to be a team that relies on your defense for the most part, your defense can kind of withstand the hit there.
No, it can't. It didn't withstand the hit during the 1920 season.
We would be retiring Pajot's number if we got that trade done. Are you kidding me? He would get his own statue. Kevin Fiala for Pajot, Brandon.
It's not a matter of the talent disparity between the two. It's not a matter of that.
Brandon's building a winner, okay, John? It's different.
Mike, let me ask you a question.
It's so hard.
Brandon wants to build the 2018 Blues.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, stop.
That's his wet dream of the hockey team.
It's so hard not to mess with Brandon tonight. We're just having that type of night. It's tough. Well, wait, no, hold on. I'm not joking about that trade though. I would take Kevin Fiala in a heartbeat. You can go find a shutdown center somewhere else. See you later.
If you have another shutdown center in your system,
sure. Oh, here we go. There we go, Brandon. There it is.
If you have another shutdown center in your system who you feel can replace
Pierre Ball.
Fuck off.
I actually was not joking about Simon Holmstrom.
No.
You think Simon? I don't know about that. I guess we would have to see. I'd have to see Simon.
No, I don't think he would be the shutdown center, but I think he can be a shutdown wing.
Yeah, they would need someone next to him. Sure.
But again, though, let me ask. Let's be
Wallstrom.
Mike, let's be here. Let's say the Carolina Hurricanes didn't bring back Jordan Staal.
There you go. Yeah,
they did a couple moves, and instead of the Red Wings getting Alex DeBrincat, the Hurricanes got Alex DeBrincat, but they lose Jordan Staal in the process. Are the Carolina Hurricanes where they are right now?
They're better.
No. I don't know about that. That's a tough one.
They're better.
No, they're not.
Without Staal?
Without Jordan
If you add DeBrincat, yes, they're better. Their problem is offense.
No, but you lose your no. Their problem is goaltending. They don't.
Their problem is, you're right. Their problem is goaltending, but it can be supplanted by offense, which they don't have.
They are actually pretty decent offensively. I believe they're top 10 goals, 5-on-5.
Okay, what is their power play? What does their special teams look like?
That's not a player issue. That's a coaching issue.
That's both.
How?
Because if you don't have the talent, your special teams suffer.
So you're saying that Carolina is better with that swap?
I'm saying that they do better with that swap, yes.
Where's your shutdown line?
I don't think you quite need one if you're Carolina, because your defensive core is elite.
Yes, you do.
Your defensive core is phenomenal. You have Slavin, you have Pesci.
Yes, you have Slavin, Pesci.
That should be enough.
Okay, but you still have the importance of Martin, Staal, and Fox. The line that shut down Barzal, the line that shut down the perfection line the previous year. Where is that?
But the only reason the fact that they shut them down was that important was because they could not score more than 2 goals a game.
But the perfection line only had 2 points.
But that's great. But Brandon, there's more than one way to win a hockey game.
I like John's theory. More offense. This is what the Islanders need. See you later, Pajo. Hello, DeBrincat.
Yeah, and then you lose your shutdown center, and now you're going to be relying on Zizekas, who can't
This is a pro Anders Lee podcast.
Actually,
3C Anders Lee.
No, there is a
shutdown Anders Lee.
There is actually an indisputably better reason why you take somebody like DeBrincat over somebody like Pageau.
Because they're so much harder to find. 100%.
I agree.
Yeah, they're rarer.
Bro, it is 1,000,000 times easier to trade for a shutdown center than it is to trade for a 30 to 40 goal scoring winger.
Is it easy?
Yes, it is.
What do you understand on face value?
A first round.
Not a lot.
A first and a second and a conditional third, which was.
To be fair, John, at this time, something Brandon isn't mentioning is that Pageau was closer to a 2C than he was a 3C at that time.
No. So they gave up a first and a second, right?
Yes.
For a second line center. Let's clarify that. He was playing like a second line center during
that's fair. That's fair. If the Islanders were to trade for Alex DeBrincat, would a first and second get that done?
No.
Hell fucking no.
No, it wouldn't.
No.
Because the first rounder would be later in this case, in hindsight.
Bro, it would be 2 firsts and a prospect.
I think when they traded for Pageau, they had great intentions. And obviously, I think he was pretty good, too, when he came over. But the point is, Brandon, I think it is easier to find someone who can play a good 3C role than it is finding someone who can play a top-line winger. I don't think that's Now, finding someone of the quality of a Staal that he has been for Carolina, much harder, difficult conversation. That is like saying finding a Marner on wing. I agree with you.
Yeah, no. If you're going to make the argument of who's more valuable, a JG Pajot or a Pierre Engvall, for example, then you have a very interesting argument.
Mind you, I am not disputing the difference of talent between Pajot versus DeBrincat.
You're disputing importance, but my issue is Pajot at current day. I don't think he's the best shutdown center and third line center in the league.
No,
he's probably somewhere around average.
Even if you're disputing importance, if you just go off of asset management, it is much easier to get the one asset than the other.
Of course. How much was Deneau traded for? I'm just curious.
What?
Because he's like your elite shutdown third line center type. Philip Deneau. Do you remember what he went for? Oh, he didn't get traded?
No, he signed.
That would be a good comparison of how much does an elite 3C cost versus how much does a DeBrincat cost. My opinion.
That's a good comparison.
Players like Deneau, like Pajot, like Eriksson Ek cost $5+ million. That's the type
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, and players like DeBrincat cost $9 million.
Yes, plus higher assets too.
Yes.
I think a better argument would potentially, and this is going to hurt John, but what's the value of a high-end 3C versus Buchnevich? You might pick the high-end 3C if you're looking to win a Stanley Cup. That's where I think Brandon comes from. But if it's a Pajot today or Pajot 3 years ago, Pajot 3 years ago, I'm taking him over Buchnevich. Pajot today, I'd probably take Buchnevich.
Well, issue again, Mike,
I think it really depends on how your team is, like what the makeup of your team is.
Yes, no, exactly, of course. But value-wise, John, the Pajot we traded for, once again, one of the best 3Cs in the league, was playing like a 2C at the time.
No, I think that trade worked out really well. He was really valuable, and it was a very smart get. I'm not saying it wasn't, but if you're going to ask me if I would rather have a JG Pajot or a Pavel Buchnevich, I know my answer.
Even that year,
you can make it work defensively. You have the best goalie in the entire world.
I see Brandon's argument.
You can make that work.
But you should not be relying on just your goaltending.
Yeah, I see Brandon's argument, though. It depends on your team makeup.
You shouldn't, but it works, so who cares?
Oh, it
depends on your team makeup, but if you're building a Stanley Cup contender...
If your defense is good, it absolutely works.
Yeah, and you're going to be losing some great defensive forward play by losing Pajot in the process.
Okay, and that's made up by a buffer and goals, and you getting more structure defensively from the better defenseman.
Okay, did the Vegas Golden
Knights get more out of Pelican Pulak now than you did before, so it offsets.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's like an elite example, though. That's what I'm saying. It's
okay, John. Did the Vegas Golden Knights win the Cup last year without William Karlsson?
Yes.
No, they absolutely did.
Yes, they did.
Absolutely not.
We have 3 reactions from Brandon this episode that are absolutely freaking hilarious. Why did I clip these?
Okay, wait, no. Do the Vegas Golden Knights win the Cup without Jack Eichel?
Well, no, sure. But William Karlsson was one of the 3 best Vegas forwards throughout the entire playoff run. Marshall being the driver, Eichel being a driver and a finisher, and William Karlsson being that lockdown, in-your-face 3C.
Yeah, you're right, and they ran through people. They were still going to run through people without him.
Not without William Karlsson, no.
Yes, they were.
Ask any Vegas fan about what the importance of what William K brings to that table.
I think he's very important. I'm not saying he's not.
Brandon,
what I'm saying is you can work around not having him.
One more. Absolutely not. You should have seen his face. He was like, absolutely not. Brandon, you are a gift show tonight. We're gonna have the player gifts when they score a goal and they do like the fist bump or they do like the thing. We're gonna have the absolutely not and the one where Brandon goes, Mike, where he's looking to the sky. Brandon, I just want you to know that if it was up to me, I would definitely trade Pajot. But I mean, it depends on the return. If the Islanders were,
it depends on what you have potentially coming up. If you feel
you can't trade Pajot because they don't have a center worthy enough to replace him. So
they don't. if they had somebody within their farm system ready to take Pajot's spot like that, sure, 100%. You move.
You don't believe in McLean?
No.
I do not have a problem making that trade because I think you have enough depth here where you can supplant it.
Depends what you do after it. Depends what you do after the trade, John. You'd have to obviously replace him with a quality talent.
Ideally, what I think you would want to do if you were trading Pajot is you would want to get a center prospect that can do what he does in a more limited capacity.
Or you get Nelson a winger and you move Engvall down to 3C.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of Nelson, okay, this was the primary basis of the discussion. You don't move Nelson. This going back to Brock. No, you keep Nelson. You move Anders Lee before you ever consider moving Brock, and you'd find a way to target a 2C during the offseason and move Nelson to wing, so that way he doesn't have to be as defensively responsible, and he can drive him off that way.
John, I'm listening to you, Brandon. But John, that was a great angle of you. I wish you could do it again.
I'm sorry, I'm watching TV.
You have to maximize Matt Barzal and Bo Horvat's prime. You have to. Yeah. You can't be selling off assets that work right now. You can't be doing that if you want to contend. No matter what circumstance. I don't care. I don't give a shit what writers say. Oh, the Islanders have the best or the worst prospect. So I don't care. Until you make it to the NHL, you're just a prospect. All right, this
guy. That's not accurate.
What? Why? The beat writers had the Islanders as the 5th-ranked prospect pool in the 18-19 season.
But that's like saying we don't really. But that's like saying a first-round pick is the exact same as a third-round pick because we don't know yet.
So here's the problem with those rankings.
Okay. I'll take it a step further. Anything after the top 3 is a total crapshoot.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, no, that's what I was gonna say, Brandon. If this is what you mean, in prospect rankings, they are ranked usually by the top of your pool. Those top guys are the ones that hold most of the value. I mean, you look at a team like the Canucks has a great pool, John, but you look down the list and you're like, oh, after like 2 or 3, most of these guys probably aren't going to be anything. I mean, even though
most of those guys are probably going to be serviceable. Well, no, not most. A lot of those guys are going to be serviceable NHLers. They're going to be good depth pieces. That's what you build your team around.
My argument to that is okay.
You have consistent, man. It's not everybody, but it's at least a few people on every team. It's pretty fucking consistent.
I'm a big prospect guy, but this serviceable depth player thing, guess what, John? You can find all of those guys in free agency for maybe $500K more. It's not a big difference. The diamonds in your pool, those are what make your prospect pool good. You think the Islanders were a top 5 pool because they had freaking, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't remember the names after the top 5.
Yeah, how did it turn out?
It was Wahlstrom, Dobson, Bellows, Wild, and I think it was Iskakov. But either way, Devon Toews was not in the top 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I mean. Our pool
and then
he
was the
ranked.
guy that turned into a stud.
You don't agree with me, John, that like the majority of these prospect rankings are top heavy rankings?
No, I agree. Listen, I agree the majority of these rankings are the majority of these rankings are top heavy rankings. What I do not agree with is the fact that you guys think that the rest of the fucking prospects just don't matter. It's a crapshoot. You could take whoever. That's just not true.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's exactly what you guys are saying.
No, but I'm just saying the chances of those guys panning out to being anything fantastic are just slim to none. I mean, you don't see Devon Toews. Those are really, really, really rare.
But those are the makeup of almost every single good team. Every single very, very good team has a lot of young players who are on very cheap contracts that play above the cap hit that they have. You're not going to get that. What?
No, I agree with you. I think we're arguing 2 different things. I think my point is that like most NHL teams are made up of first-round picks. So that's why most prospect pool like rankings are the first-round pick guys, usually near the top, that like hold the value of a prospect pool. Not because the Devon Toews type of players.
They're made up of first-round picks, but they're also made up of people that played above their pick selection.
All right, you would have to show me pools where it's not made up of the top 3, 4 in rankings of first round picks. I mean, I don't think they exist really. Maybe you'll see a second or third here and there, but like Devontae's sort of picks. I'm not saying draft picks don't matter. I'm saying in rankings, when you're ranking prospect pools, they're really only looking at 3, 4 guys as the bulk of the value. If the Islanders next year were to draft a guy 6th and a guy 12th, they'd probably jump 10 to 15 spots in the rankings, no matter who it is.
Without properly evaluating those players that were originally drafted.
I think they try. I think it's really hard to evaluate a 16-year-old. They have to look at data to be able to get some sort of assessment.
What you're saying is their rankings are unclear and worthless.
Yes, to an extent.
But you're arguing two entirely different things, and that's what's hypocritical about this. You're saying at one point that it does not matter, that you are unable to draft accurately outside of the first round, so it's a crapshoot. But you're also saying the only players that matter are the people that you draft in the first round. So which is it? They're two completely conflicting situations.
No, wait. What's conflicting about that? I'm not saying
that's entirely conflicting.
I don't think just your first round picks matter. I say no, but when they're doing rankings, John, and when they're looking at prospect pool rankings, what I'm saying is,
but I don't give a shit about what they're looking at. I give a shit about the players that pan out.
I'm not saying don't keep your picks. Don't draft guys late. You're going to find some hidden gems once in a while. But most of the NHL is made up of first rounders. Go look at any team. They're like 80 to 90% of the first round.
Okay, so if most of the NHL is the first rounders, then what you're saying is that they're actually very good at drafting within those first round picks and figuring out who is good and who is not. And it's not a crapshoot.
Well, I would say statistically, after pick like 15, it goes down a giant hill. And then after the first round, it's basically like, I think 5 to 10% even play in the NHL. Am I wrong about that?
I don't think that's true. I think
Brandon,
that's wrong.
do you know the percentages offhand, Brandon? It's something like 10 to 15%, right?
It changes every single year.
I can look it up. No problem. Well, you guys continue.
It changes every single year. I believe it was like 50-something% last year.
Yeah. Either way, we're very like off the rails right now. We got to get this moving. So let's go into the trivia stuff because we don't really have that much time.
You go first, Brandon.
I think he's the only one with one right now because I don't really have mine.
All right. So while we're on the topic, wait, Mike, where'd he go?
Fuck.
Oh, don't tell me his Wi-Fi died again. All right. Well,
no.
John, I'll do this.
All right.
Is he coming back?
I don't know. He hasn't told me yet. I'm not sure, but you could start with us.
All right. So actually, you know what? I'll ask Mike when he comes back, but I'll ask you first. So while we're on the topic of the Islanders and the Maple Leafs, obviously in 2002, the Islanders faced off against the Maple Leafs in a 7-game series. The Islanders lost in Game 7, but we're not going to talk about that. Obviously,
well, that was embarrassing.
Oh, what happened? Your Wi-Fi went out?
No, I clicked the X button.
Oh no!
Right, so here we go. I got the statistics on me. All right, so ready? So NHL draft probabilities. So this is just playing in the NHL. So this is like a little bit slimmer, not actually turning into anything great or anything. So top picks 1 through 5 play in the NHL 100% of the time. I'll find the year this was done. This was done 2020. So not too long ago. Picks 6 through 15, 75% play in the NHL. Picks 16 to 31, 65% play in the NHL. After the first round, so this is 32, so technically still the first round, to 62, 35% play in the NHL.
That's still a very good number.
Right. After, when you get into the third round, it's 25%, and then on it goes down 5%.
That's not that much of a drop-off. 1 and 4 for the third round is pretty good.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you look at star potential, I think it's closer to 1% actually become anything. So I mean,
I'm not saying your third rounder is going to be a star. I'm saying your team is made up of cheap depth, and that's where you get it in the draft.
So my argument, and I'm a big prospects guy, is a lot of these depth players, like a Gauthier, who was a first-round pick, by the way, but a lot of those types of depth players that you need to fill out your team, you can find in free agency. They exist. They're not that hard to come by. You
But they
you want a
usually-
mix of both. You want a mix of both.
But
you definitely want young
the
and
problem
veteran.
is the problem with finding them in free agency is everybody else is trying to find them as well. So
There's
all
always
the
a lot of
good
guys.
players are being. I know there's a lot of guys, but the good guys that you would find in free agency, you're competing with other teams for, and they're going to cost more than what you expect them to.
Sure.
Whereas if you draft them and they're pretty good, then you get to keep them. So you got to trust your system.
It's definitely a mixed bag. Is from what I've learned. Is you should have a balance of both. That's how good teams win.
Sure. All right. So what's your question, Brandon?
And then I have one.
This was
all right.
This was based on the topic. The Islanders. Speaking of series, the Islanders ended up winning this season series against the Maple Leafs 3-0. They swept them. If we'll recall, the last Islanders playoff series against the Maple Leafs, they lost in 7. It was during 2002. During Game 4, the Islanders had that iconic Sean Bates penalty shot moment, and he scored the goal, the game winner, for the Islanders to win that game 4-3. Who were the other 3 goal scorers for the Islanders that game?
Oh, in the Sean Bates game?
Yep. This isn't too long ago. I mean, come on now. We're not that young.
I believe one of them was Alexei Yashin.
I mean, I'm not going to say yes or no. You got to say your other 3, and I'll tell you how close you are.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm going to say...
What year was it?
Alexei Yashin.
What year was it?
The
Mark Alexei Yashin, Mark Parrish, and Sherkovsky.
All right, that's John's 3. What's Mike's 3?
It's funny because that kind of. All right, never mind. I'll just guess. Honestly, I want to say Blake. I don't know. Blake. This is Blake, Hammerlick, and Parrish.
All right, so you both said Parrish. You're both wrong on that.
Okay.
All right. John is right on one of them. See if you can figure out what the one that he's right on is, and he gets 2 more chances.
I think I'm right. I think I'm right on Yashin.
All right. So who are the other 2?
It's tough not having the.
Mike is right on one of them too. I'll get to him soon.
I don't have the roster in front of me. That's what's so tough about it. Like, I don't want to say names of players who weren't there.
Who did you say, Mike?
No, Brandon, why don't you tell us which player was right and me and John have to guess the last one? That'd be more fun.
All right. Fine. John.
You don't want to be here all night, John?
John is right on Yashin.
Okay.
Oh, good guess.
Mike is right on Hammerlick.
Wow, Hammerlick, huh?
Oh, good pull. Good pull.
It wasn't Jason Blake? It wasn't Jason Blake. Oh, that hurts. I feel like he was on that team, though.
Kenny Janssen?
Mike's turn.
Wait, no, you can just say if it's right or not. I'm
no,
really stupid.
Right.
God, right. He's gonna make me wait like if it was right. Someone else?
Mike's turn.
Taking me back here. Ugh. Is Pekka an answer? Was he? I don't know.
He was injured at that time, I think.
Yeah, he was injured.
Yeah, I mean he was on that roster.
All right, you get 2 more tries. John.
Was he injured that series?
Yes.
Oh man, what a bad guess. All right, John.
Adrian Aucoin?
Nope. Mike's turn.
Scatcherd?
Nope. John.
I don't even know if Scatcherd was on that team. Yeah, John, just go back. Keep thinking.
God, this is a fucking poll.
It'd be easier if we had the roster in front of us because this is tough. There's a
no,
lot of.
Trust me, it would not be easy for you if you had the roster either.
Well, I have another guess.
I'm trying to go back and think, but Sillinger?
No, Sillinger was later.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, you got one last chance. Save the day.
No, we should each get one more each. I'm gonna say Satan. Was Satan on that team?
No, it was not.
Fuck, he was later too, I think.
Okay, fine. You pick different year.
Go ahead, John. One more.
Okay, one more.
I can't wait to hear who it is, but I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna have a funny guess because it ties into mine. Shit. And I know he was on the team. John looks like he's sending a prayer up.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who was on that team outside of the people.
We both said someone who wasn't. I think twice.
Yeah.
That's a tough year because there were players who were awesome together, but they didn't come in at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I love Shatan and Yashin, but like that was such a small gap in that.
I feel like Kavasha was later, but I will say him. Oleg Kavasha.
Nope. No. Mike.
Aaron Asham.
Nope.
Oh.
All right, who is it?
Kip Miller.
Oh, we
never would have got that in a million years.
Who the hell is that?
Never in a million years.
Jeez, Brandon, we could have been here all night if you just kept that going.
No. Never would have.
You were like,
how did none of you remember Kip Miller? He played.
I don't know who that is.
Bro, I don't even remember who that is.
Yeah, no, I have no idea.
No.
You could send me his hockey DB. I still wouldn't know who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, who the hell is that?
He played. Well, according to data, he played over 400 NHL games.
Well, not
you could give me the last name, and I wouldn't know the first name.
Nope. Yep. I wouldn't have known either. He must have had a very short Isles term.
Yeah, but only 37 games.
Yeah, that's why I don't remember him. Yeah, no, Brandon's like, you remember him? You remember those 37 games?
I figured this.
Brandon's like, come on, guys. You don't remember 30 games from 2002?
Islander legend Kip Miller?
Brandon's brain is just like, zzz, I remember.
Yeah, right. All right.
Human Wikipedia question. That was
what's your question?
Brandon, you needed to like highlight that last answer as, hey, you both won't get this. Fucking bullshit ass.
Yeah.
All right, mine's a little bit easier. Mine's a little bit easier for you guys.
Okay.
So, piggybacking off Brandon's question, in on June 22nd, 2002, that was a mouthful.
Jesus. All right.
The Montreal Canadiens traded Aaron Asham and a 5th-round pick to the New York Islanders in exchange for. You want to go first, John? Not Brandon. Brandon's evil. Same team.
Yeah.
No, John goes first. Don't say anything because I know you'll get it, Brandon.
No, I won't.
No, you will. I know your Wikipedia brain will work. Oh, I'll tell you who the 5th-round pick was we got with Aaron Asham. It was pick 149, and it was Marcus Paulson, whoever the frick that is. I went to his Wikipedia.
So we traded for Aaron Asham, or we traded Aaron Asham to the
team? We traded for Aaron Asham that year. Oh, and he signed a 2-year contract with us, and the player we traded for Asham came back to the Islanders the next year.
Oh, that's.
Oh,
I think that's a coin.
Nope, no, Brandon.
No, a coin signed with Chicago.
Dude, how does he know that?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Brandon was
go ahead.
Okay. You want me to go first?
Yes.
No, John already went. What do you mean?
Go.
Mariusz Czerkawski.
Yeah, he got it. It's not even fair. Unreal.
Wow.
So what, Brandon, what gave it away? Was it the coming back to the Islanders?
Yeah.
I thought that was a good.
Oh my goodness, you guys are so up on this shit. I am very much not.
Brandon is. That is not a question I would have gotten right away. That's a tough memory one.
Yeah, they're coming back later on. Yeah, I remember that.
That's 22 years ago. That's like if I asked you the Radek Martinek question. I don't expect you to get it right away, at least. That was insane. All right, John, what's yours?
I do not have one.
Yeah, John doesn't want to kill us. Come up.
I wasn't able to find one in like the 10 minutes before we decided to pod.
You had so much time while Mike was getting his Wi-Fi. You had so
Bro,
much
I did not.
John didn't want to ask you something too easy, Brandon, to not challenge your brain.
Not even that. I gotta find.
You said he
No. John, we get it. You didn't want to insult Brandon's intelligence with some easy trivia question.
All right.
All right. I just wanted to say before we close the podcast, it was good finally getting an episode in. It felt like it's been a year, but that's Lane Lambert hockey. It was snooze.
Yes, it's good. It's good talking to you boys, and I think we're gonna have good hockey from here on forward.
No matter what happens, I'm happy
fun.
Though. No matter what happens, it's okay because I hope Waz is going to bring in a GM that he wants. We're going to be a professional organization, just like when Lou came here and brought in Trotz. Now
Joe
we get
Sakic. I'm just kidding.
That would listen. If all of a sudden the Islanders are full of NHL legends, I'm not going to be upset. These are guys that won.
Did not have a good falling out with Sakic when he left. That's not.
Yeah, so it probably wouldn't go.
Oh, I think their relationship is mended. I think they're probably fine now. No, I don't. I think so.
Do you guys have any GM that you've always wanted to come here?
Brisebois.
Yeah. I got a funny answer for you guys because he didn't work out. Wait, can you guess who I'd want to GM the Islanders who didn't work out as a head coach in the NHL? Fantastic hockey player.
Don't say that.
Brandon's so good. He knows right away.
That was the most obvious answer.
How amazing would it be if Wayne Gretzky brought a Stanley Cup to the Islanders and every Rangers fan for the rest of their life would forget about that the entire time Gretzky. Well, not the entire.
Can't we just say the normal answer, like probably Johnny Boychuk or something like that? Like
Chris Lamoriello.
No, it's not going to be Chris. Can't we just say
Johnny Boychuk? Yeah, that'd be a good one. I'd be happy with that.
Wayne Gretzky.
He sits with Lou every single freaking game they go to in the suites all the time. I mean,
I think
Gretzky would never
actually getting.
Anyway, but
if I'm being honest, I think he actually is getting groomed to be the next guy.
I mean, this is speculation, by the way. I'm not saying anything. There's people who are claiming that he signed for 2 to 3 years or whatever. But can't we just say Boychuk?
I'd say Boychuk. Yeah.
People are not going to like me on this show because I just keep throwing out jokes. But I was going to say the next Gart Snow, but not net on defense.
Thomas Christ.
Hey, Gart Snow made some good moves. We can all admit that the Barzal trade was his masterpiece. He turned nothing. He turned shit into gold on that.
I agree.
Seriously.
And drafted Keeper Bellows and drafted Ryan Strome and mishandled Nino Niederreiter and didn't give Jared Spurgeon a contract. And
it goes on forever. Trust me. We could do a whole pod on how bad Snow was. I get it.
But his eyes were high.
Let's not harp on that. Let's not harp on that.
All right.
Well, anyway.
All right, boys.
We're going to go on a run.
Have a nice night.
Mike's got his fisherman. I got my IL stuff. And John, in good John fashion, has his Mets shirt. So on that note, get out of here.
Have a nice night.